When you see a trinomial, so we've got 1, 2, 3 terms, and it's a quadratic trinomial because it's got a leading exponent of 2, you're going to want to play the x game. So to do the x game, you simply make an x. And you want to identify the a, b, c values. So our a value here in the front, that's our a value, is 1. Our b value is positive 5. And our c value is 6, positive 6. So when we do the x game, we want to put the c value on the top, and we want to put the b value on the bottom. Okay, so we've got the x game all set up. The next thing you're going to want to do is determine the signs that you need in order to factor this trinomial. So I need two numbers that multiply to a positive and add to a positive. So there's only one way for that to happen. That is if both of our factors are positive. You can't have a negative multiplied by a positive to become a positive. So both are positive. Once you've established that they're both positive, we're looking for multiples of 6 or factors of 6 to add to 5. So what are multiples that become 6? So there's only two ways to get 6. You can do 6 times 1. For 5, you can do 3 times 2. So which one of those adds to 5? Well, 3 times 2. Okay, so 3 times 2, and that's it. Those are the two factors, and now we just got to write it into a binomial. So this is going to become a plus 3, x plus 3, and a plus 2 times x plus 2. All right, let's do the same thing over on this side. Again, you got to know a, b, c. C goes on the top, that's 12. B goes on the bottom. It's -7, so the negative is important. So I need two numbers that multiply to a positive and that add to a negative. So when you're multiplying numbers together, the only way you can get a positive and when you add them together is a negative is if it's a negative times a negative. Negative times negative is a positive, and a negative plus a negative is a negative. So I need two numbers that add to 7 and multiply to 12. So what? 12 times 1, 6 times 2, 3 times 4, and that's it. So which one of these adds to 7? 3 and 4. So x minus 3, x minus 4. Okay, bottom left, same thing, x game. This time, my c is a negative. So when I'm looking at my signs, the only way I can get a negative number is if I do a positive times a negative. And it doesn't matter if the negative and the positive, which side they're on, as long as one's positive and one's negative. Underneath in the b gives us a hint on what the values are. This is saying that my negative term, when we combine, is 3 bigger than my positive term. So my negative term has to be bigger by 3. Okay. So let's look at factors of 10. Now we can look at 10. 10 times 1, 5 times 2, and that's it. So one of these has a factor that's 3 bigger than the other. Well, 5. 5 is 3 bigger than 2. So I know I'm going to use 5 and 2, and my 5 has to be negative because he's got to beat my 2 by 3. And that's how you do when your c is negative. So this is x minus 5, x plus 2. And then my final x squared plus 7x minus 18. This time my c is negative and my b is positive. So we still have to have a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. It doesn't matter which is which. And this time my positive has to beat my negative by 7. So how can I get 18? We can do 18 times 1, 9 times 2, 6 times 3. I think that's it. So one of these beats the other one by 7, 9 and 2. And my negative has to be 2, and my positive has to be 9 in order for 9 to be negative 2 by 7. So this is x minus 2 times x plus 9.